Vietnam is undoubtedly one of the best countries in the world to explore by motorbike. Many of its hidden treasures, its people, and its landscapes are difficult to access without a two-wheeler. In early 2025, we traveled from the capital city of Hanoi in the north to Vietnam's economic hub Saigon in the south. In this first episode, we cover the first half of the journey, which took place almost entirely in pouring rain. Our journey started in Haiphong, the third biggest city in Vietnam. From there, we jumped on a train to Hanoi to kick off what would become a journey of more than 2,000 kilometers through this long and narrow strip of land. Hello. We'll be traveling from Hanoi to Saigon over the next 3 or so weeks, and we thought we'd record it. It was February, just after Tet holiday, which is what the Vietnamese call Lunar New Year, or, in other words, the most important time of the year. It was still very cold in the north of the country, which gave us the opportunity to experience gradual changes in temperature as we moved towards the ever-tropical south. After collecting our motorbike in Hanoi, we decided to make our first stop around 20 or 30 kilometers from the capital city.
Where are we?
I'm not sure exactly, but we are about 50 kilometers out of Hanoi, and it's beautiful. It is cold. It's a reminder that Vietnam is not always hot. Not always and not everywhere. Because I can't feel my legs.
At this point in time, there was only one thing we could really think. Never underestimate the winter temperatures in North Vietnam. After only an hour or so, the cold and the mud were already catching up with us. The shoes were soaking and the clothes were covered in mud. It was a reminder that not every part of the journey is easy or pleasant. Our first glimpse of Vietnam's northern landscapes opened up as we passed through Ninh Binh, once the ancient capital, tucked safely among limestone hills. Back in the 10th century, this hidden valley served as a natural fortress, protecting the kingdom. Today, it's one of Vietnam's most popular tourist sites, including Chang An UNESCO Heritage Site, Bai Dinh Pagoda, Mua Cave, and many other sites which I can't pronounce. Having visited Ninh Binh in the past, we decided to skip the main attractions on this occasion. However, even on a gloomy day, you can clearly see its quiet charm and its glorious past.
Second day, ready to hit the road. Yeah, it's gonna be even colder probably than yesterday. 12, 13, 14 degrees and windy and maybe some rain, so it's gonna be a tough day, but we'll see how it goes.
Soon after leaving Ninh Binh, the temperature continued to drop, which reminded me of my childhood winters in Estonia, with frozen fingers and everything.
So where are we?
We're stopping halfway from between Thanh Hoa and Vinh.
It's so cold, I couldn't keep driving anymore because it's so cold. Fortunately, there's free tea.
It's warm.
I don't know what tea is it, but it's very, very nice. I like it actually. So I'm gonna.
It's called Chea Bối, but I'm not sure what is in it. It's a little bit bitter,
It's a bit bitter.
but it's supposed to be very healthy. That's what I was told when I was little. So
Tastes like a very interesting herb, a bit medicinal, and it's hot, which is the most important thing. And now we're eating some kind of cracker, just as a snack, because it is very cold outside. This one is not sweet though. I feel like I needed something sweet.
it's pretty nice.
It is nice. But I do need something sweet. Some peanut butter or jam would be nice. I guess we'll be here for like 5-10 minutes. Maybe have a few more cups of this and move on, yeah.
Eventually, we rolled into Vinh, the hometown of Ho Chi Minh, Uncle Ho, as he is endearingly called, was the revolutionary leader who once fought against the French colonial powers and later against the Americans in Vietnam War. In Vietnam, he is much respected, and you will find his photos and statues everywhere, at schools, in the offices, and occasionally next to Jesus or a Buddha figure. We planned to visit his birthplace, the village of Kim Lien, but the rain had other plans. Good morning. It's the morning of the third day. It's been raining for 24 hours. We're struggling to get out of wind because the rain just doesn't stop. We do have a big room here though, and a balcony, but it's not helpful when it's cold. But that's part of the struggles of traveling, I guess. That's the breakfast. So breakfast, little wafer rolls. But we're trying to come up with a plan to wrap everything in plastic bags and get ourselves a nice little coat to hopefully get on the road shortly. After purchasing raincoats and wrapping our bags in plastic, the road continued towards the city of Quang Binh, skipping all the stops that we had originally planned. We're on a quick meal after a 3-hour ride in the rain. We're soaking wet stuff, but we have to continue. Just finished our meal. The pants are cold, the socks are wet. There's no way back. These are my shoes here. Not good. Even with the rain, we couldn't but marvel the changing landscapes. It was stunning, with green hills, endless rice paddies, and hard-working Vietnamese people taking care of their crops. Oh, look at that.
Amazing.
And it wasn't just the nature that was impressive, but the fact that we were riding on historic roads, which were once part of what is now known as the Ho Chi Minh Trails. Or in other words, a massive network of jungle roads, which were once used by North Vietnam during the Vietnam War to provide supplies to its forces in the south. It's always special to experience the history. It was also interesting to think that somewhere not too far in the jungles behind those mountains was the location of Son Doong Cave, by far the largest cave in the world. It was accidentally discovered in 1991 by a local forest worker named Ho Can, and later explored by a British team. Although the cave could potentially accommodate a whole city, only about 1,000 people get to see it each year, with tours costing roughly $3,000. After a long but beautiful ride of more than 250 kilometers in the rain, we finally arrived in Quang Binh, which surprised us with a hotel called Rex Quang Binh. It was quite luxurious by our standards, especially for its humble price, $40 Australian or 22 euros per night. It was clean, organized, and included a beautiful morning buffet with wonderful Vietnamese meals.
What are you doing? We don't even want to bring shoes inside. So wet.
After our dinner and before hitting the Sac, we visited a beautiful church right next to our hotel, where a local choir was singing. It's amazing. Vietnam is full of churches, which is quite surprising, considering the majority of the population are non-believers. But churches are everywhere,
in every city, in every province, and they're beautiful and well maintained.
Hello.
Hello, it's the third or fourth day.
The fourth day.
Fourth day, and it's not raining. It's amazing. We're on the way to Hue, the ancient capital of Vietnam, and it does feel good. It's not raining. Yeah. And we have a beautiful pagoda ahead. We're enjoying ourselves because 2 days of rain, it changes you as a person. You start appreciating small things. At least I am.
On the way, we stopped to see the Hien Long Bridge, which during the Vietnam War marked the 17th parallel. It was the dividing line between the North and South, symbolizing both painful division and national reunification. Standing there, it was hard to imagine that people of the same nation, families of the same blood, were once divided by this single line. We also visited the ancient fort of Quang Tri, which was built in the early 19th century by the last ruling dynasty of Vietnam.
Looks very nice. It would have been interesting to see it in its original shape, because it seems like it was much more impressive back in the day, probably, but most of it is gone.
During the Vietnam War, however, Quang Tri was the site of one of the most brutal and challenging battles of the war. We walked around the old fort, touching its old walls, with nothing revealing of the old blood that was once shed. Driving mostly down the QL1, also known as the National Route 1, we finally made it to Hue.
This is Hue, the ancient capital of Vietnam.
That's right.
This is a fairly touristy city because there are a lot of historic sites here.
Unsure if it was the magical vibe of the place itself, or the fact that for a moment there was no rain, we instantly fell in love with the city. Dreamy City, as the locals call it, was the capital of Vietnam from 1802 to 1945, during which Vietnam was under the rule of country's last dynasty. As a UNESCO designated location, the city is not only full of history, heritage, and charm, but also energy of peace and calm, which people not always associate with this densely populated nation. To absorb this special energy into our bodies, as well as its royal heritage and its unique cuisine, we gave ourselves ample time to discover the city on foot. Hue is famous for its royal cuisine, dishes that were once made for the emperors themselves. If you like food, it's definitely a good place to be. In fact, some of Hue's dishes are so popular that they are widely available across the country and even overseas. This includes Bun Bo Hue, a local beef noodle soup, Ban Can Go, a thick crab noodle soup, Ban Beo, famous steamed rice cakes, and Che Hue, a sweet dessert drink which comes in many different varieties. Whilst we only spent 2 days in Hue, the aim was to eat it all. However, the highlight of Hue is definitely its historic architecture and the wonderful natural setting. The city's character is built by the rolling hills which surround the city and the beautiful Perfume River. We started our tour with the Imperial City, the former residence of the Nguyen emperors. It is a family name which is carried today by around 40% of the Vietnamese and which no foreigner can properly pronounce. We also visited Tien Mu Pagoda, one of Hue's most iconic landmarks. It's located on a hill overlooking the Perfume River and provides a stunning view of the area. Much like elsewhere in Vietnam, Hue has also many locals and travelers who are always interested in having a chat, so you will never really feel alone.
Introducing you to her family members.
Good. Find myself in your family.
We especially enjoyed the lesser-known Te Hieu Pagoda, a peaceful temple hidden from the main tourist attractions. It's a significant place in Zen Buddhism, connected to Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, whose teachings on mindfulness and peace have spread around the world. What's happening here? Why are you bullying this one? This is chicken. They're bullying a chicken. Roosters, get the hell out. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Right next to the pagoda, there's also a cemetery of the eunuchs who once served in the royal court. They didn't have families, so they funded the restoration of the pagoda and supported it as their final home. It is a part of history one doesn't hear too often about, but it adds a very human layer to Hue's royal past. To get a better glimpse of the nature of the area, we also traveled out of the city to see the Vong Can Hill, a gentle climb with pine trees and a panoramic view of the Perfume River. I guess it is the morning fog above the river which gives the city its name, the Dreamy City. Before continuing our journey, we gave our bike a nice bath to wash off the dirt from all the previous days. In Vietnam, much of the economy is informal, which means that a lot of the businesses are run straight out of people's homes. That's one reason you may find mechanics and motorbike washing businesses nearly everywhere.
Bike is clean again. We can see the plate clearly, so we're ready to go.
You did a good job. 20,000. Soon after leaving Hue, we realized something is not quite right. Knowing our luck, of course, the tire was completely flat. Fortunately, as we were pushing the bike down the road, a kind local stopped and pointed towards a muddy trail. After a bit of pushing, slipping, and asking around, we eventually found the right place. The owner of the shop was casually playing cards with his friends when we showed up, but immediately turned his focus to us. Whilst the mechanic was busy fixing the bike, I decided to use this opportunity to mingle with the locals. Let's see what's the game they're playing. What is the game? It's not chess, it's something else, and the money is involved. There's big stakes. Xin chào. Come on. They're very nice. See, they're offering me a chair. These people here have more manners than in so-called civilized world. Some may be wondering, why are we using an old semi-automatic Honda Blade and not a top-of-the-line BMW GS? Now may be a good time to explain. Honda Blade is a motorbike that rarely breaks down, and when it does, no matter where you are, no matter how far, there will always be someone to fix it, at least in Vietnam. It's sturdy and basic, sort of like a Nokia of motorbikes. And besides that, it's also the most common motorbike in Vietnam, which allows you to be just like the rest. How much was it?
15, I gave him 20.
Wow,
It's just ridiculously
that's so
cheap.
cheap.
Yeah.
Very nice people. Back on the road again, we headed towards Chuk Lam Pak Ma Zen Monastery, one of the highlights of the day. The road was narrow and winding, which made it an enjoyable ride. As we arrived at the monastery, we were greeted by a still, mirror-like lake, which was surrounded by fog, giving it an extra touch of magic and peace. Across the lake, on top of Lin Son Mountain, stood a large temple complex, which was only accessible by boat. It is exactly this location, the hills and the still water, which make this monastery a unique place to visit. Our journey continued towards the Hai Van Pass, one of the most famous mountain roads in Vietnam. It is said to be special not only for its winding roads, but also for its lush landscape and most importantly for its breathtaking coastal views. However, the luck continued to be against us. As we approached the Hai Van Pass, it was covered in fog, with visibility no more than a few meters.
There's absolutely no visibility. There's a little bit of traffic jam here because everyone is trying to go slowly.
The road twisted and turned as we inched our way through the thick mist whilst the rain continued to pour into our faces. The brakes of the bike were screeching and losing its sharpness.
Well, the brakes are gonna die here. That's the cemetery of brakes here.
After nearly 2 hours wrapped in dense fog, everything changed the moment we crossed to the Da Nang side of the mountain chain. The fog lifted, revealing blue skies and the shimmering sea below us. It felt as if we had stepped from one world into another. Suddenly, it was all alive. We finally made it to Da Nang and officially reached what some may consider central Vietnam. Incidentally, it was also the first time for us during this trip to feel the warmth of sun. Da Nang is a beautiful place, if not a bit overcrowded these days. It has a wonderful coastline with sandy beaches and traditional basket boats. It also has a small yet vibrant city center and plenty of natural beauty to discover. One of our favorite features of the city is the lush Son Cha Peninsula, which is part of Da Nang and stands out as a powerful green mountain in the otherwise urbanized city. Our first stop in Da Nang was Son Cha Tin Vien, a small bamboo garden hidden in the lush Son Cha forest.
You brought us to a beautiful place.
It's on Son Cha Peninsula, on the foothills of Son Cha Mountain. It is a nice little temple-like area here. The area felt like a peaceful retreat, with small water streams surrounded by trees and flowers. Right next to it, we stumbled upon a small trail leading to a small grove of coconut trees and a hidden waterfall. It was quiet, with nobody around, and absolutely beautiful. Whilst Da Nang and Vietnam in general are not exactly famous for hiking, there are wild hiking trails in Son Cha if you are willing to put in effort to find them. We also rode further up to visit Linh Ung Pagoda, one of the most famous landmarks in Da Nang. Next to the pagoda, there is also a giant Lady Buddha statue overlooking the sea and the skyline of the city. You may also encounter different types of monkeys who will most likely be jumping from tree to tree. Of course, we couldn't leave Da Nang without trying some of the local foods. One of our favorites is banh xeo, a crispy Vietnamese pancake with a variety of fillings. It is crunchy, savory, and hits the right spot from many different angles. It is also a fun food to eat because you can use your own hands to arrange the filling according to your own liking. Another must-try dish in Da Nang is mi quang, which is known for its flavorful broth. You can find it nearly anywhere in the city for a very affordable price. We spent a few days enjoying Da Nang and then continued our journey towards Saigon. Ahead was a great adventure with much more sun, beautiful landscapes, and interesting conversations. Life is good.